If you look at letter D on the next page, we're going to be on the lookout for significant changes that could result in a change to our customer risk profile. So maybe there's a significant change in account activity, right? Suddenly Kevin's flying all over the countryside, and that doesn't make sense for in-house counsel at a bank. Or maybe there's a change in their business operation, like like that bakery I mentioned, where suddenly maybe they were a bakery beforehand, but once they start selling edibles, they're not your normal bakery anymore. So we're going to have to update that customer risk profile with additional policies and procedures. Maybe there's a change in ownership. So we need to know who those owners are. They might be higher risk now than they were before. Maybe there's other red flags that pop up during, and we'll talk about our monitoring program, but different red flags pop up, and it may be a trigger for us to go and ask additional questions. The one that I think is the best on the list are the examples that are in there. Maybe law enforcement came in and started asking questions about one of your customers. That's a pretty good sign that maybe we should go and take a look at that customer and see what's going on if the cops are at the door. Or the results of negative media searches. Maybe you're flipping through the paper, or maybe you're on your phone and you're flipping through the news on your phone and you see that one of your customers has just been indicted for tax fraud or something along those lines. Well, maybe that would be a trigger to go in and get more information about that customer and look at their accounts and see maybe there's some suspicious activity we should be reporting. Or it could just be the length of time since you've talked to them. Maybe it's been a couple of years, so you go in and you ask them additional questions. Maybe you get updated identifications. All of that could be baked into your monitoring program. And the whole, the point of this, actually, before we get to this slide, let's go to letter E on page 30 or 22. What should you be on the lookout for? Well, different, unusual activity. Maybe it's a reluctant customer, a customer who doesn't want to tell you about why these transactions were happening or what's going on with their situation when you reach out or you talk to them. Maybe there's inconsistent activity and activity that just doesn't make sense for their business. Maybe there's a loan purpose that they just don't want to tell you what that money is going to be for. Or maybe they're frequently exchanging small dollar denominations with large dollar denominations, and they're moving cash that way. Maybe they're purchasing monetary instruments, and there's not a lot of rationale to it. And so you can take a look at that list. Online payments is another kind of relatively new one. If you have a business that has a lot of online payments coming in, or if you have an individual who has a lot of online payments coming in, but they don't have a business that is online that you can really tell, it could be that account is being used as part of that layering process, and they're funneling money through an account. That's what ultimately sometimes money mules are used that way, where it's an individual who opens up an account and all they're doing is having funds flow into that account and flow out of that account. It has nothing to do with their actual purpose or their actual use. It is being used just to further that layering process. We need to funnel this money through that account so then it seems legit, so we can kind of hide where it's coming from. But the key is letter F on the bottom of that page. Ask the tough questions. If you see something that's unusual, know when you don't have all the facts and feel empowered to go out and get those facts. And what happens if you can't resolve the issue, or you can't get you look at it and it just doesn't sit right, and even the responses don't really fix the situation? Know when to raise your hand and contact your BSA officer or your manager and let them know, hey, I looked into this and I did a little bit of poking around, and this still doesn't make any sense for that particular customer. And that's where you, in your seat as a professional who is a human barometer on the lookout for things that just don't make sense for your customers, that's where you can help feed the entire system.